Welcome to the ROCA Youth Soccer Player Development Podcast, a show made for youth soccer coaches, players, and fans, where we feature in-depth discussions with some of the world's leading youth and professional soccer figures. The podcast provides listeners with the inside scoop on coaching and playing tips straight from experienced soccer professionals. I'm your host, Sergio Anton, the founder of ROCA Technical Soccer Training, and I would like to personally welcome and thank you for joining us today. Now, today's guest has some very interesting advice for young aspiring coaches who are looking to climb up the ranks, as well as some information on his coaching methodologies. Before I get more in depth about our guest, during this period of time where we're all at home, many young players are having trouble getting their training sessions in, or they're not doing the right type of training. So you can find all the soccer training services you need, including our new online training services, on our website, www.rocasoccertraining.ca. We have a live private training session coming up on April 30th on Zoom. That's going to be a really exciting new program, and I'm looking forward to getting that started. Now, today's guest is a professional coach who has trained all levels of the game, all the way from the youngest ages to the first team players. He was brought on to Thierry Henry's coaching staff at Monaco during the 2018-2019 season and has a wealth of experience in Benfica's world-renowned academy. He's had a hand in developing many players, including João Felix, Renato Sanchez, Gonçalo Guedes, and so many more. And I've had the pleasure of personally being coached by him at the under-19 level while I was at Benfica. I think you guys will be really interested in what he has to say about developing young football talents. All right, so without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing episode 3's guest, Joāo Tralhāo. Let's get into the show. Welcome to the podcast, João. Thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you, and I have the utmost respect for you, not just because of our experience together, but what you've done over the length of your career. And I've been following you on various platforms and trying to learn as much as I can from you. And so I'm really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, Sergio. First of all, of course, for your invitation and for your trust on my experience and my knowledge about the game, about the phenomenon of football. For me, it's really, really, really nice to meet you again. Of course, in a different role, because we had a story between. We built something together when I was your coach for a year. It was really rewarding working with a guy like you, with your type of mentality and type of working capacity and talent as well. Now life gave you another role, and I hope that you could be so successful as you wish, because you have all the profile. Your profile is very complete to be a successful coach.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and it means a lot coming from you.
Thank you.
So for the listeners that maybe aren't familiar with Portuguese football or maybe aren't familiar with you, give them a little bit of a background on your history in football.
Yeah, look, I played not as a professional level, semi-professional. I played semi-professional level until my 20 years old. I was a third division player. I can say that. And when I went to the university, to the academic life, I found the passion about coaching, because I wanted to follow sports. My degree is in physical education and sports, but in terms of specialization was in football, training methodology. And I found my passion when I was 20 years old. I started to study, to be a coach. And then I had the opportunity, because my university at that time gave me the opportunity to start internship in Benfica, because we had a protocol between the university and the club. In that little boys start to play just for fun, and I start in at academies. The first year I was there, then I became not a professional coach, but I became a competition coach, because in Canada it's a little bit different. Here in Portugal, as you know, we start to compete since very young ages. Start to compete since 9 years old, 10 years old. We have formal competition. We have competition. We play a championship, even when you have 9 years old. And after 1 year in the Football Fun Academy in Benfica, they invited me to be one of the coaches to start in competition level, and I started. And then it was like the steps. I step up. Of course, it wasn't so fast as people seem to like. And now I believe after 20 years old, after 20 years of coaching career, it was very important for me to be step by step, but in a slow motion speed. It was the right path to help me to become a coach, because I spent all these 19, almost 20 years trying to be the best coach in all levels. First, of course, in under 9, then 11, under 14, and then when I became assistant coach in 2007, after 7 years of coaching, became assistant coach of the first team when José Antonio Camacho, the Spanish guy, left the first team in December. And in January, the club called me to be an assistant coach of the first team. It was very important for me. It was a milestone, very important milestone for me. And then, of course, I know you know, but people doesn't know. Was the under 19 head coach for 7 years. We achieved 2 UEFA Youth League. It's the similar competition. It's in level for youths. Champions League for youths. We achieved 2 times the final. We didn't win, but it was very important for us as a club, and of course for me as a coach, and mainly for the boys. It was very important for them as a players, as a project, as a players project. Was very important for them. We achieved 2 times the final. I won a few championship in under 19 level. Then it was for me. It was very important to work with a lot of young talents like João Félix, like Renato Sanches, like Bernardo Silva, André Gomes, a lot of top players, elite players. It was very important for me because all of the generations, all of the ages, all of the players, they pushed me to be best coach every day, because the demanding was so high that you needed to be a very good coach to help those boys, to like you as well, to help those boys to be better, to be prepared for the next level, senior level. And that kind of path, that kind of path in my career, it was very important for me to grow as a coach. My experience is like that. And about the next experience after Benfica, because I spent almost 19 years in Benfica, I was invited by Thierry Henry, my very good friend that I met in Wales, in UEFA Pro license, because I took my courses, my A license and Pro license in Wales, and I met a lot of very good people, very important people in football, and one of them was Thierry. He called me when he was invited to Monaco to be part of his coaching staff. Wow. And it was amazing for me, because first of all, he is my friend. I like him a lot as a person, and during the course, the Pro license, we had a very, very good relationship. We identified a lot each other about the methods, about the philosophy, about the way we view the game, and blah blah blah. And we had a lot of things that we identify each other. And he invited me. I was a little bit surprised in one way, but the other way I was very, very excited to be part of his coaching staff, to learn from him, to help him with my knowledge, with my experience. And yeah,
Mhm.
we went to AS Monaco in France for first team AS Monaco.
Mhm.
Um, we worked there for 4 months. It wasn't okay. We had a different project in this challenge, but yeah, football is like that, and we left. And after that, I'm stopped. I'm trying to reflect on my practices. I want to stop little
Mhm.
this time just to reflect on my practices, to prepare myself for the next challenge, and just to rest a little bit and to
Mhm.
zoom out a little bit from football. And now I think I'm ready to be back, and for sure I'm more prepared to the next challenge.
Yeah, well, you covered a lot there, and I'd love to. I think first of all, yeah, football can be very chaotic at times, so I can understand after 19 years of on the go, 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 coaching a weekend, uh, 6 days a week training, 5 days a week training, one game, one day off for 19 years, it can take a toll on you. So definitely well deserved break. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. For first of all, I'd like to kind of rewind back and ask you about coaching methodologies at the base level, at the grassroots level, players from like 7 to 10 years old. Speak to us a little bit there, and then we'll go up the levels of where you coached and the different priorities in terms of player development at the different levels. But start us off with the 7 to 10 years old that you had the experience of coaching.
Look, yeah, I have a big picture of what I think it's important to work in those ages,
Hmm.
so young, that younger ages. I think now we are our computer, our laptop, our all the information that came from everywhere, from social media, from the books, from YouTube, from everywhere. We are invaded by information about tactics, about game model idea, about
Hmm.
methodology, blah 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 blah. But is everything linked with a tactic approach of the game?
Hmm.
And this, I think, could be dangerous for younger ages coaches, because those ones they will, I think, like you, because you are starting
Hmm.
people, we I think the coaches think that the most important thing to work in a 9 or 7 or 6 or 8 or 10
Hmm.
years old is to prepare them for the game knowledge. And I
Hmm.
think that's wrong. That's the wrong choice to
Hmm.
make. I think the best choice to make is, first of all, to get them ready for the basic skills. And the basic skills is like, you need to turn right, you need to turn left, you need to balance your body, you need to be agile, you need to be coordinated. And those kind of skills you need to learn in those ages.
Hmm.
Because if not, probably you will be a lot of troubles after that.
Hmm.
Because if you don't have the basic skills, you cannot be a player.
So that's basically the. Sorry to cut you off, but basically the ball mastery, the technique work is crucial at those age groups.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hmm.
I believe so. Ball mastery, I think skills, the coordination skills, I think to learn how to, you raise your head and you look at all the scenarios, all the things around you, not
Hmm.
only for the ball. You learn to play with the left foot, the right foot. You need to shoot with the left. You need to shoot with the right. Ball
Hmm.
mastery in both legs. I think it's very important for a boy. And how to turn with the ball, how to hold the ball, how to turn with the ball. I think those kind of skills, they are very important. But uh, the next thing, I think it's crucial as well. You need to teach them, but in terms of specific learning. what is specific learning for me? You cannot teach a 9 years old boy to play like a 19 years old. It's impossible. You need to understand the stages of the growth of the player, and you cannot teach the game, the complexity of the game, in terms of comparing the under 19 level and under 9 level. But you can teach the game as well in the under 9. You can teach them the game, but in a simple way, not in a complex way, because if you increase complexity in those ages, the thing you will promote to those little boys is frustration, is not the satisfaction of to being successful. And because they don't understand, they are not ready to understand the game like under 19 or under 17 or under 16 years old they have. And you need to keep simple. You need to have simple skills, simple things about tactics, simple things about game knowledge. Like, okay, if you are free, progress with the ball. Do not pass. Go with the ball. Progress. Or if you don't have the ball and your close opponent is close to you, you need to press him. Things like this. Simple behaviors that they can be much more prepared to learn the more complex skills. If not, I think the thing you will promote to those boys is frustration, and I think the odds for them to quit soon, they are larger, because if they don't understand, they will be frustrated. They don't want to practice, and probably they will choose another sports. Yeah, that's my conclusion.
So how do you manipulate the scenarios so that you can increase the chances of success and their time on the ball and their time to make decisions, but in a way that you're promoting them to succeed, rather than setting something up where it's already from the start 4v4 or 3v3 where everyone is marked? How do you maybe manipulate that so that the attacking team can have more success? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's a very good question. I think the best tool for the coach is the exercise, the exercise creation. How do we create our exercises to manage this kind of behaviors from the player? I think if you practice, one thing you need to know, and I think that's a very good question because of that. One thing you need to know, I think, you need to understand, if you put 3v3 situation, of course, if you increase the space is larger. But even if you put 3v3 or 4v4 or 2v2, you will promote a lot of 1v1 situations. And as you know, 1v1 situation is a very complex relationship. It's a very complex relationship, because you need to be very well prepared to win your battles, to win your duels. And if you want to promote attacking skills like pass, combination, shooting, you need to make them understand they need to have space to do that. They need to have time to do that. They need to find that space. But when you put 1v1 situations, they need first, before you find space, you need to get rhythm of your opponent, or of direct opponent, and that's a complex relationship in the match. I think that's a very complex relationship in the game.
So first, would you? Go ahead.
I will advise first, if you want to put small-sided games on your methodology, because I believe those kind of exercises are the most important exercises to teach the boys how to play and how to learn the basic skills, because you have a lot of density in your actions. You do a lot of actions, specific actions in short time, and that's very important. But the critical key the key here is how do you manage the conditions of the exercise to make them play, to practice, and to feel successfully in those actions. And if you know some principles before you create your exercises, methodological principles, you will understand how to manage these. First, I think if you want to have a good possession, if you want to have more time for them to decide, more time for them to find the spaces, more time for them to execute, you need to put more numbers on attacking than in defending, because you will practice better, because you will have this feeling of successful to have the ball. And in the other way, if you want to defend like a block, if you want to make your defenders compact, one of the things that disadvantage numeric in the exercise promotes is the compactness. If you are practicing, imagine 4v2, you will promote in those two who are defending, they will be more compact for sure. This is one of them. But if you put the same numbers, you will promote pressure. You will promote more risk on pressure, because you are on one situation. You don't need to cover any space. You don't need to close the space inside space or something like that. But I think these kind of conditions are very important to practice the small game. This kind of management, exercise management, I think it's crucial, is key to drive the behaviors of the actions of the boys that you want to promote.
And at what age would you say that it's important to start doing those types of games and game scenarios? Like at 7, 8 years old, would you start with a small-sided game where there's a numerical advantage, or what age group would you start to do that?
Look, yeah, why not? Why not? I think you can start from the basics. You can start from 4v1 situations, just to possess, just to have some goal to achieve, some direction to achieve, or 4v2 or 3v1 or something like that. And of course, you need to switch every time you do 1 minute or 30 seconds or 2 minutes for the boy you are defending. Because if the boy is defending 5 minutes defending, he will not have success. You need to rotate. You need to rotate. I think in those ages, you need to rotate all the roles. They need to defend. They need to attack. They need to be in the channel, the white channel. They need to be in the central channel. They need to go around and every roles in the game. I think that's very important.
Experience
and make them. Yes, experience everything, and they need to be motivated to do things, because if you put a boy 5 minutes or 10 minutes only defending 4v1, he will be full. He will be crazy. He will be frustrated, because he will not have the ball. And if you rotate constantly all the positions, all the roles, it will be really, really enjoying for them. And why you cannot stop? You cannot start in those ages small-sided. Why not? I think that's important for them to practice, because they will have the game, and we cannot forget one thing. Boys choose football because they like to play. They want to score. They want to dribble. They want to pass. They want to do something related with the game. They don't want to dribble cones or pass against the wall or just finishing in the goal without anyone. They want to have the
challenge.
Similar scenario. Yeah, they have challenge, and they want to practice in the same scenario or similar scenario they watch on TV, and those titles that they admire and like that. And if you want to do that, if you want to assure that, probably if you create exercises, in my opinion, it's not probably, I think it's for sure, if you create exercises that they have all the elements of the game, like opposition, direction to put the ball in, a goal or a line or a teammate or something like that. If you put transition, moments. Transition moments, it's so simple like this. If you are attacking and if you lose the ball, you need to defend something. You need to go on the ball, or you need to defend some small goal, or you need to defend your goal, or you need to go to somewhere. I think those three conditions, uh, those three elements, they are always present in the match, regardless if you are playing 11v11 is in a level, or 5v5 in the 9, because all those elements, like a direction to follow, or to achieve a goal or something like that, a position, even if it could be smaller opposition, or not 1v1 situation opposition, and a transition moment. I think those elements, they will make them understand they are playing, and this feeling for them, it's very important to motivate them.
So you touched on a couple of things there in terms of teaching. There's attack to transition to attack, transition to defend. There's defending. You don't have the ball, and when you do have the ball. So 4 scenarios within the game. What, in terms of structuring your training curriculum, do you focus? How does Benfica do it? How did you do it in terms of teaching a youth player? Do you guys separate the moments in blocks? Do you work on one thing for a week, or do you cover a couple of things in a week, but do that for several weeks? How do you guys structure that? Talk a
Yeah,
little.
look, yeah, Sergio, look, I yeah, now I'm almost only specialized in this senior level, or it's different. My methodology is different because
Yeah.
I specialize myself in senior levels contest. But of course, I can tell you how I think could be a good option for
So not
to
not just
find
at
out.
the youngest age. I'm speaking more now. We've kind of passed that
In terms of
topic.
concept.
In terms of concept, how do you structure your training sessions? We'll move past the youth,
Okay.
the 8 to 10. We can start moving in
Yes.
towards the
Yes.
majority of your experience, which was 15 plus, and specifically the 19s for 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't believe so much in blocks
Mm-hmm.
in terms of learning learning process. I believe in an integrated model.
Mm-hmm.
Integrated model, I think it's better for every age group to understand and to learn the game, and learn skills or learn, because when you work for blocks, I think okay, it could be efficient if you work 3 months or 3 weeks in a block, and you do everything linked with those kind of behaviors and actions, and you understand after 3 months, and then you stop and you start another block, and you start another block, but 3 months after, you spent almost 3 months without doing the last thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you have the capacity or the ability to get this in progress, okay, you have a block, but in the next block, you will assure that they will do the same thing that they did in the last block. Okay, could be a concept, efficient concept. In my opinion, I think if you build a week, that every week you have all the contents distributed by days, like this. If you work three days or 4 days in the week, or 5 days, it depends on your
Mm-hmm.
availability and conditions and everything. But if you work, if you build your week like Monday, I will work. Imagine just a hypothetical scenario. You work defending skills and transitions and attacking defending skills
Mm-hmm.
on the next day, the day two, you will work attacking skills, and then defensive attacking transition skills. The day after, you will put everything on Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 3 days. You put on the first day defensive and attacking defensive transition, and second day attacking and defensive attacking, and the third day you will train everything. You train the global, and if you repeat week by week, all the weeks, you will repeat this organization. I think you will assure that they will practice every week everything, and you will increase in terms of your sensibility to go to another level and increase complexity during week by week. I think in terms of vertical organization, if you increase complexity, this kind of weak organization, I think you will be players more prepared to know the game, to understand the skills, to practice the skills, because every week they practice everything. I believe in this model. I believe in this concept, but of course, it's only my vision.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. I mean, I remember playing for Toronto FC, and at one point we went through a block where we were practicing only defensive principles, but it was for, I would say, more than 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
And
it's so long.
I mean, as a winger, an attacker, you're like, oh my gosh, when is this gonna end? Like every day we're going in, and the thing is, you would do a nice skill move, score a good goal, do good combinations, but you're not rewarded by the coach, right? So I feel like, and also the other aspect of that is, as a coach, maybe you miss a lot of opportunities to coach the other end of things. So if you're only focusing on one topic for however many weeks, you might have like several moments within different training sessions that you can teach a specific player something that they've done wrong, and stop a bad habit from continuing, or give them some ideas that will spark create.
I think that's the key. That's the key concept. It's continuing. You said it very wisely. It's very important to continuing and the progression, but also the integration of everything. You cannot be 5 weeks or 4 weeks. In my vision, you cannot be only focused on defending, because you need the other part. You need, on the other hand, you need the reward of, if you defend well. The thing is, the main objective to defending, when you are defending, the main objective is to recover the ball and protect your goal. If you achieve one of those objectives, is recover the ball, what you do next, it's very important. And if you are stopped to link the idea of recover the ball and attack something, or the reward to attack something, could be a space, could be a pass to a teammate, could be to score a goal. I think it's a little bit it's a little bit hard for players to motivate and to understand the reality of the match. I think the continuing is the concept, and everything is linked in the game. When you practice on Saturday, when you go to competition, you will not only will defend. You can have the priority to defend well, because the main objective of that week was, we need to defend well, we need to be compact, we need to press or something connect with defending. It's the priority, but you cannot forget the other part. On the other hand, you need to attack, you need to have transition or attacking and defending, and I think it's that the concept.
Yeah, and so in Canada, there's a methodology. It's called game activity game. It's called GAG, and basically it's for the youth levels. But I've seen it covered in more senior, like, under 17 to under 19. I've seen it done there too, where basically the structure of a training session would be to start with a small-sided game, then move to an activity, then go back into a game again, and with the focus being one specific thing for the training session or for the week or whatever, however you feel to structure your training. Um, are you familiar with that? And what do you guys follow in Portugal? Obviously, you guys are doing the UEFA licensing. Speak a little bit about that.
Yes, in terms of how do you build your session, it's something
Mm-hmm.
like that, or you are
Yeah.
asking
Like,
how
yes.
do you build a session?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How would you structure it?
yeah. The structure. I think you need to follow some principles that you believe,
Mm-hmm.
principles that will assure that players, at the end of the day, they understand what you want. I think that's the concept. It's not. Okay, I think they are not formulas. They are not formulas to follow. I believe in my method, and my method is it's important to follow for me because I believe in those principles. One of the principles that I completely believe is the session should be progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And when I plan my session, I always plan from the end, from the top to the beginning, because
Mm-hmm.
I will, in terms of session building, I will define which are the goals to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
the objectives to achieve, and in terms of content. And uh, I want to understand as well what are my priorities to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of this, I will build the last exercise. The last exercise for me means playing a condition game, not
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to be a 11v11 match
Mm-hmm.
in all the pitch. No, could be only yeah, could be a 9v9 or 8v8 or 10v10 in a smaller pitch, but
Mm-hmm.
they will play, and they will play for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Players will play for a reason. They will play with some conditions to assure that they will understand, they will learn what we it's our main content to teach, our main priority to learn.
Yeah.
Like this. If I want to, yeah, in a practical example, I can tell you if I
Mm-hmm.
want to, my main objective of that session was is to press high, to allow that the team is ready to press high.
Mm-hmm.
I will prepare the last exercise in terms of 11v11, how the team will play, how the team will, how that exercise will allow team to understand how to press high. Some conditions, like if the ball goes in this direction, we need to go there.
Mm-hmm.
If we regain the ball in the last third, we win 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Some conditions, some rules like this. And I imagine and I create the last exercise. And from that, I will build the exercise before. The exercise in a simple way to understand how to press, a medium-sided game or some game, but without being 11v11 in a simple way for them to practice a lot and for them to have opponents, for them to have as well a direction, a transition moments.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, I will build the first exercise of the session. It
Mm-hmm.
could be a small-sided game, could be a passing drill with opponents or with some
Mm-hmm.
complexity, just for them to understand what we are applying in the last exercise. Have a progression, have a logical sequence. It's
So
not
you
only
reverse
split.
engineer, kind of.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If we start the session with small principles of
Mm-hmm.
the main content, small
Mm-hmm.
principles like imagine pressing. A simple principle could be react quickly. If you lose the ball, react quickly. Could be a first exercise, a simple exercise for them to practice a lot with a lot of density in terms of action. They will practice. Could be a small sided game, could be a passing drill, could be everything. But in a simple way, and then the next exercise they will practice with more complexity, and more complexity for me means more numbers, more space, more opponents, more complexity,
Mm-hmm.
to prepare them for the last exercise. And the last exercise will be a game scenario. Could be 11, could be 9, whatever you can imagine, but it's a game scenario more linked with the real game scenarios. And why is that? Because during the session, the progression of the exercises uh, will allow them to understand what are they doing, and the why are they doing, and why I'm doing this is to applying in the match, applying in the game. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's for me, it's one of the principles. Other principle is, of course, I follow all some methods linked with tactical prioritization. What this means that um, when I build my exercises, I build exercises to uh, to practice and to teach, and to allow them, the players, to practice according to my game idea.
Mm-hmm.
And all the exercises, they will follow my idea of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't practice exercises just to practice. I don't lose time with that. I practice to teach them or to develop all the principles linked with our game model idea. That's
Mm-hmm.
very important for me. This is one of the principles.
Mm-hmm.
And another principle for me could be, imagine if you want to practice, build exercise during the session. For me, it means nothing if you start with shooting drills,
Mm-hmm.
the first exercise, and then the second exercise, you take off the goals. There are no goals, just possession. And the third exercise, you will play again with goals. This means nothing for me, because
Yeah.
it's not it's not logical, the sequence. Why
Mm-hmm.
you are starting shooting if you the next exercise you will don't have any goals, and the next exercise you have goals again.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. But no, the really good points that you made there in terms of teaching the game how you envision it, how you want your team to play, so that they understand what their tasks are when they do get to the game. Um, let's move a little bit into some other questions I had. Uh, how do you develop a player's emotional and like psychological abilities? Like we talked a little bit before about how some players maybe don't make it to the uh, best level that they can, or achieve their full potential because of that lack of psychological ability. How do you, as a coach, develop that?
Yeah, you cannot forget that players are not machines.
Mm-hmm.
Players, they have their own profile, they have their own limits, they have own problems, everything. Of course, you need to understand that all the players, they are individuals, they are different individuals, and this is one of the main principles. The second principle, I think, to work with difficult hard boys to deal, is to understand that football is not only tactics, only techniques, and only strategy, and everything. Physical. No, football is more than that. Football is everything integrated. If a player don't have doesn't have the mentality to play in a high level, and high level means demanding, means frustration, means the dealing with the frustration. It means
Mm-hmm.
everything linked, integrated. If a player that could be an amazing, brilliant technical player, to understand the match like no one, but in terms of mentality, he's not competitive, he's not ready for the competition. You cannot make him believe that he's ready, or that is
Mm-hmm.
in the right path. You need to make him understand that he need to develop those skills. And yeah, in Benfica I had a lot. You I think you met some of them,
Mm-hmm.
players that's full of potential, full of quality, but in terms of mentality, in terms of emotional control, they were not ready for develop to achieve a senior level. They are not ready for that in terms of mentality. And I think one of the things is, and I can give you my example, is to make them understand that you have a very trust link up with them. Communication should be great, should be important. They need to trust on you. They need to understand that everything you are saying to them and everything you are doing to them is to help them. It's not to punish them. Not to it's not to put him in a different level. No, you if you want to help them, you need to create this connection. You need to create this channel, this trusting channel. And this trusting channel, I think, means for me to be honest in terms of coaching, in terms of leadership. You need to be honest. You need to tell the truth in every moment. I think you need to make player understand that all the things you say to him, it's for him to develop, and you need to be consistent. If you are not consistent in the message, you will lose the player again. Because for me, consistency means, in terms of relationship with those kind of players, consistency means if you are asking for them to be more professional, be more competitive in exercises, you need to ask him in every moment, not only when you are in the pitch training, when you are in the competition pitch, when you need to be in every moment, in the canteen, in the meal, in the way he deals with the rest, the way he deals with the relationship with the teammates, the way he deals with the schedule, the discipline. If you ask in all dimensions, and if you are consistent in your message in all dimensions, I think in some point could be far, could be close, could be in terms of timeline, but you will understand that you are helping, and when you feel that connection is created and is solid, it's in that moment that you feel that you help some boys or that boy, and then you can you can have everything from him because he trusts on you. You are consistent. You every time you are honest, and you have knowledge to help him to develop and to develop some skills that he's not ready to have. And the key word as well, and the next step, it was like I already said to you, but the key concept for me is knowledge. You can have the trust, you can be honest, but if you don't have the knowledge to help him, this relationship will be poor, will not be fully complete. And to have knowledge is not only leadership skills from the coach. You need to have knowledge about the game. You have to knowledge about everything around around football, like psychology, like nutrition, like physical qualities. You need to have knowledge about everything. You don't need to be specialist, but if more knowledge you have,
the
more
better.
capacity. Yeah, better. More capacity you will have to help players. I think those things, the communication channel we trust and knowledge, it will help these relationships, these more difficult relationships with those kind of players.
Well, definitely, I think the game is much different now than maybe 30 years ago, when maybe that emotional, psychological side wasn't as focused on. But how much do the resources that you have in a club like Benfica, with nutritionists, with psychologists? Like, I remember when I was there, there was top professionals in every realm of the game. How much does that help your job as a coach?
Nah, helps a lot. Helps
Yeah.
a lot. It's decisive. It's key because yeah, if you have if you have a project to develop players, to develop teams, to develop everyone, you need to have people. You need to have people committed with the process, and
Mm-hmm.
of course they need to be specialized in all the areas, and we need to have specialized people. But you need to have people committed with the process.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, yeah, it's really true. You found a lot of people there, a lot of people working on the process,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but more than competent, more than the quality that they have in terms of technical competences, they were very committed with the process.
Yeah.
They wanted to work for the boys. The demanding was high because the club, as you know, is very demanding, and you cannot be there if you are 99% good. You need to be 100% good
Mm-hmm.
if you want to work there as a player or any role,
Anything, yeah. Even
anything.
as a kit man, like
Yeah,
everyone, literally everyone in that club. That's a special club for me. Everyone asks me, "Oh, you're Romanian. Why don't you support Romanian teams? What about your EPL team? Whatever." And I tell them, "Look, for me, that club had such an impact on me, and it made me. I never understood it. I grew up in Canada. I would go to Romania in the summers." And supporting a team like from Canada or from Romania, it's not the same. When I went to Portugal and I saw the passion that people have for Benfica, the passion that the players have, the coaches, the psychologists, the nutritionists, the kit man, the janitors, the people cleaning the rooms, everyone top to bottom is committed to the same thing and they have the same culture in their head. It's amazing. It's phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah, it's stuck
yeah,
with
and that's that's one quality that the club have, and I
me. Yeah.
think if a club can replicate this kind of connection with all the workers, all the people who is working there, it's easier to promote what it's the core business of a club is develop players and put players in a different level,
Hmm.
and of course develop teams and everything. But
Yeah.
that's the reality. For me, it was decisive to work with people around me that they are not only very good in what they are doing in terms of technical competences, but in terms of human qualities and commitment was really crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you worked with a Canadian player other than myself? I mean, I know you've worked with Keaton Parks, the
Yeah.
American player. How many North American players have you worked with, and what have you noticed with them?
Look, my experience with North American players is not larger than you and Keaton, and wasn't a direct relation.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few weeks with him, no
Mm-hmm.
more than that. And Christian Atsu, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, the Adu,
Uh-huh.
Freddy Adu,
Oh
Freddy
yes,
Adu.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was every one of you had particular individual differences. Of course, everyone is different, but I believe that in terms of if you compare a player is coming from North America reality and
Mm-hmm.
Europe, of course you will find some differences. It's natural differences
Mm-hmm.
because in Europe, football means I think means a lot for people
Mm-hmm.
since, as you know, because you have Romanian Romanian part of you. I don't know how many parts of you are Romanian and how many parts are
Fully.
Canadian.
I'm born in Romania. I'm everyone Romanian, but yeah, raised in Canada, should I say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have two parts in
yeah,
your mentality. Yeah, but I think as a Romanian you can understand what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. Of
You
course.
you just live for football in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
The most part of the countries, and it wasn't built in the last 20 years. It was built, I don't know,
Yeah,
uh,
long time. Yeah.
yeah, a long time ago. And uh, in North America, the reality is a little bit different. I think because you have different sports. You put your everyone likes a lot of sports more
Mm-hmm.
than football, like hockey, ice hockey, like basketball, like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not bad. This is good because people have you can choose. You don't have to follow football just
Yeah.
just to follow. You are free to choose any other sports, and any other sports people recognize the same recognition as in football when you
Mm-hmm.
are in North America. If you are a basketball player or ice hockey player, you have the recognition you deserve as an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
as a as a professional of sports. In Europe, it's a little bit different. If you are, as you know, if you are a football player, the recognition is hugely higher than other sports. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, in most part of the cases, mainly here in Portugal, as you know.
Yeah.
And this, in my opinion, this not means it's the right mentality.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different,
Yeah.
and it's different, and because of this, the demanding, the mentality, the way, the education, the way you are educated since you start playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy compared with probably in the North American. I don't know in fully knowledge, but I can imagine it's different because
It's
it's
it's a lot different, I think, in terms of even how kids are educated in school, the culture of how people behave, how people think,
yeah,
the priorities of sports. Obviously, football is not on the or soccer, it's not on the first place, and so there's different approaches. Like what you might do in Europe may not be exactly what you should do in Canada if you want to achieve the same result. And it's different.
that's
It's
it.
not impossible, but it's different.
That's it. I think that's
Yeah.
it. And yeah, but what I found in you mainly, I can speak about you, is the focus and the ambition and the attention to the details, to understand, to learn, to it's way far better than the average. And I think those kind of qualities you have because I know the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You are you every one of you want to be uh, in the top level because the demanding of the country, the culture, the society is very high. You need to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I like this kind of mentality. I like this kind of competitiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's why um, in America, North America, football, in terms of professional level, in terms of mediatic, in terms of in all of us focus on the game, started not so not a long time ago. It's recent, but in in a in a time scale, in a so small time scale, you guys became almost in the same level of European football because you have
Yeah.
very good teams, very good coaches,
Yeah.
very good national teams, very good competitions, and yeah, I
Uh,
think that's great, and that's a very good indicator that in the upcoming years probably will achieve very good level.
Yeah, no, it's very motivating, and the future looks to be interesting for North America. I think the the people that are really soccer fans and soccer people that are passionate about soccer, the community is very strong, right? So like whether you're in Toronto or you're on hundreds of kilometers on the other side of the coast. The community is kind of tight, like the people, so creates a different environment for sure. But
Yeah,
last little bit, I'd like to talk to you about your experiences at Monaco and the transition from coaching under 19s to senior level. Speak a little bit about what's the
yeah.
difference.
Actually, it was from under 23s
Sorry,
to
yeah,
yeah. I was the under 23 coach at the time,
yeah.
and I went to Monaco in October. Yeah, it was very rewarding for me to understand that my level was prepared for that level. It was
Mhm.
really rewarding. The feeling was amazing
Mhm.
because one of the things that okay, you have the opportunity. This is one thing that one thing is you have the opportunity to go there.
Mhm.
Another thing is how prepared are you to uh, respond to that challenge. That's different, and a lot
Mhm.
of coaches they have the opportunity, but they are not prepared for the challenge. They
Mhm.
don't have the enough knowledge or enough experiences to be ready for some challenge. And
Mhm.
I wanted to be tested. I wanted to be challenged, uh, and that challenge for me was really great feeling because I understood when I arrived there after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, after 4 months that I was ready now and I was ready for that level, and I had the potential to to grow that level. And
Mhm.
that was an amazing feeling. And what I can say to coaches is don't don't try to step up a lot of steps in in in,
Too
in your
fast.
career too fast. Go
Mhm.
step by step because one of the things is okay, you are professional player, you have name, and football will give you the opportunity to have uh, capacity to be the first team coach of one of the best teams in the league. But that's for a few guys, and probably they are not completely ready to, to, to for the job. I believe
Mhm.
they need to have a lot of people around them to help them. And look, and I admire and admire a lot the knowledge from former player, top player. I
Mhm.
I admire a lot, and I admire mostly the guys that they stop their careers as a player
Mhm.
and then they start the preparation to be coaches, and they know that this preparation will will take some time, will take some, because the the knowledge that became from players, it's huge because you know the game, you know the leadership skill, you know a lot of things. If you have the right profile, you could be a very good coach. And I can give you examples like Roland, like
Mhm.
it's not these I wanted to touch. My touch is for the coaches. They are starting their career in younger ages, like you, 20 years old, 21, 23, 24, 25 years old. They are starting coaching career, and I want to say that please do not step up fast. Go step by step,
Mhm.
because this this concept, step by step, will allow you to have enough knowledge, and enough experiences for when you have the opportunity to be in the first team level, you are ready. And this kind of feeling give you more confidence to teach, give you more confidence to lead. And I believe that that the feeling that I had in Monaco, if you have this pathway in terms of coaching career, uh, I think you will feel the same.
How much of input did you have as an assistant manager at Monaco? Like you, obviously, if you're the head manager, you have a lot more responsibility and a lot more. Uh, if it goes wrong, it's more on you. But How was that as an assistant manager at that level?
Yes, I was with a great manager. Was there with a great manager. I
Hmm.
think he will be one of the best managers in the upcoming years because it's really good. You have a lot of skills, coaching skills, leadership skills,
Hmm.
everything, human skills. Is really good, and I believe a lot on him. I think the challenge was probably the right challenge for us, and we were not probably the best guys for that situation. And yeah, that's why things went in the different direction that we wanted. But I think he will be one of the best coaches in the world in the upcoming years. And
Yeah. He's
yeah,
in Canada now, in
yeah, he's in
Montreal.
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Montreal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll pay him a
Uh,
visit.
yeah, you need to visit because he's really good.
Yeah.
Look, and yeah, when he arrived, my mission was, of course, I was used to be head coach, and my main profile is head coach, and I knew
Hmm.
that, of course, and I don't wanted to go there to be the head coach. I wanted to go there first to help him with my expertise, with my vision. It was my main mission. It was to help him, was add some value to his work, and uh, we could be working as a team. It was my first mission. Uh, I was not only focused to be the leader, or no. I knew what was my role,
Hmm.
regardless. Could be different from my profile. I wanted to help. How I dealt with situation. I dealt because I needed to lead something. I needed to do something more than just assist. And I was always connected with him. I was always in the same way of thinking with him.
Hmm.
And we tried, and I tried to connect all the departments, of course, with his his
Vision.
own yeah his own vision,
Hmm.
connect the departments to give him my opinions, to give him my view of things, to help him to make the best decisions. Yeah, it
Hmm.
was a different role, but it was a really good role because we worked really as a staff, as a team, and
Hmm.
we were not we didn't feel that we are just there for there. I really felt that I was there to help and to help him to make the best decision.
Hmm. But I'm looking at some of the players that were in that team on that season, and some very, very big players,
Yeah,
Fabregas and Falcao and Gelson Martins and uh,
yeah.
Jovetic, all these players. How is it managing all these personalities in a team like that?
Really, it was okay. It was a good feeling because it's easier when you work with those kind of players. Easier
Hmm.
because they were they had a lot. They, they have so many experiences. They have so many coaches. They have so many experiences on the business that it's really easier when you work with those guys because
Hmm.
they are very experienced guys.
What do
They are
you
very humble
notice?
guys.
What do you notice is a common attribute with like name some of the players that you've worked with, like Renato
Yeah,
Sanchez. Yeah, go on.
yeah. No, they are. Yeah, they are in Benfica. A lot of young players like Renato Sanchez, like João Félix, like André Gomes, like
Hmm.
Bernardo Silva, like João Carvalho, like Ruben Dias, like yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
every those yeah, a lot of. But the difference was okay. They were really, as you know, the transition between under 17 and under 19, it's different, and there's a gap. And when you arrive at under 19 age group, you need to understand some things that you didn't understand the level of under 17. You need to understand that football is for real now. To be more professional and everything. But it was really rewarding working with those talented boys. They were very talented, all of them that you announced, that you named. But when you work with senior level, like Fabregas, like Falcao, like Yuri Tillmans, like a lot of players that we work with in Monaco, you really don't feel so many difference in terms of talent. You really find that those players they are only focused on their missions. They don't spend time to thinking stupid things or things that is not important for their work as a player. They only focus on how they can perform. They only focus how they can train in the best conditions, how they can perform the competition in the best conditions, to help the team. And it was like that. And in terms of coaching, for me, it was the same. Because when you work in Benfica with players like those kind of players you named, but everyone like Gonçalo Guedes, like, the level is so high and the demanding is so high. And if you put demanding in your work as a coach, it's the same if you work with under 9 or under 19 or senior level. You need to have this mentality. You need to be demanding with your work. You need to create the best exercises. You need to give the best feedback. You need to, and if you have this kind of mentality, you can work in every level.
Yeah, well, the way you put it there, it really paints the picture of how much of a collective effort the success of a team is, right? With the coaching staff, all the way from the head manager to the assistant coaches to the players themselves and the whole club to be dedicated and on the same page and focused and professional. So no, it's really good. Last question here, and then we'll wrap it up. João, what are your plans for the future as a coach, and what do you plan to do?
Yeah, my plan is try to build something. Try to have a project that I can build something. I don't want to step in, step out, step in, step out every time. I just want to step in a project with good people working with the right project to develop, to win, of course, because that's my mentality. I need to be involved with a group, with a club, with the winning mentality. And I'm just waiting for what could come now in terms of challenging, because I spend a lot of things during my almost 20 years career, and I need to be challenged. I need to be challenged in terms of working, in terms of coaching. And of course, could be a lot of scenarios, but the scenario that I will choose, it will be the right scenario to challenging myself again. And that's I'm happy because my phone is ringing constantly. It's good to hear that. But regardless my humble opinion and very thankful attitude for those clubs that are ringing, I think that the best challenge for me will come, and I will choose that challenge. When I have the feeling that that's the right challenge, I will go there. And unfortunately, I couldn't go to Canada because of personal issue I had at that time. But everything goes on, and I hope that something challenging will come. And I'm not anxious, but I want to be back soon, and I want to be back with the right challenge. And for that, I'm feeling prepared, and I'm preparing myself constantly every day for that challenge.
Excellent, João, and I think you are more than prepared for the challenge that you select, and that you choose to go
Thank
forward
you.
with. And
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing so many important points about the methodologies, about your experiences with players, and you went into detail about so many things without me even asking. So it was brilliant to have you on the show, and I wish you nothing but the best, you and your family. I wish you nothing but the best in your career, and I hope that we can cross paths again and continue to keep in touch.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sergio. It was really a pleasure to talk with you in a different way now. We, I'm a fan of you in terms of character, in terms of what you represent as a human quality man. And for me, it was really rewarding to spend this hour with you talking about what we love. And I wish you all the best. I'm always open for you and for the guys that they will listen to this podcast. You have my email, you have my connect, you have my contacts.
Yeah.
Please just don't hesitate. Please contact me if you need something that I can help. And always available for you. Okay, my friends. All the best for you, all the best for your family, and I know that you will be successful.
Thank you. That means a lot. Excellent. All right. Have a fantastic day, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you for listening to the ROCA Youth Soccer Player Development Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at ROCA Technical Soccer Training. Join us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for tons of free soccer training drills and full training sessions. Also, you can access our wide variety of training services and coaching resources on our website. If you enjoyed this episode, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave the podcast a review. See you next time.